Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Our guest today is Carolina Lopez. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us where you live and what you do.
Hi everyone, my name is Carolina Lopez and I am the founder of Beeshoe. And Beeshoe is a skincare brand. Just to show you a little bit, I have our products right here. And basically what we do is a skincare brand for sensitive skin and hyperpigmentation. Usually in the real world, or what you could find right now, it's like most products that are good for sensitive skin do not work for hyperpigmentation and vice versa, because the products could be too adverse, specifically for sensitivities. Or if you have hyperpigmentation, they don't provide like real results. So that's what we do.
Awesome. So I'm just curious more about your story and your background. Was this something that you were struggling with yourself and you're like, hey, let me go and make this product? Like, what was kind of like the origin story of the brand?
Honestly, I personally didn't know that I was going to be a founder. I stumbled upon it, and it really starts from like a personal journey. I was born in Colombia. We actually didn't even know that we were going to be here. So I kind of go with the flow. As I've mentioned earlier, I've learned to go with the flow. And we fled Colombia due to the political issues and kidnap threats that we had. And during that time, it was very challenging because my mom and we got separated, and my sisters, I do have sisters. So we got separated. And unfortunately, during this 5 years, the only way how we could stay connected was really through like a FaceTime phone call where we would have like normal conversations. And as somebody who really admire her, I remember like actually visually seeing my mom and like getting ready, putting on her like lotions and potions, as she likes to call them, and even putting like her high heels. And I would be like, oh my God, I just want to be just like her. So with our separation, that's how we started talking and having conversations after school. And she had this really big passion for skincare, and she does her routine for like 3 hours till this day. I know I don't do that myself either. And that's really how my journey started. Unfortunately, because I have 3 chronic conditions, I have asthma, allergies, and sensitive skin. It really caused me to want to be just like her, kind of like the trending thing that it is like right now, the twins, like following what the parents are doing. Well, back in the day, it wasn't that cool. And yeah, it caused me to have like irritations, and even get hospitalized. So really, I got anxiety, I got depression, and I couldn't find something to help me with. And rather than asking for help, I just kind of like locked myself in a box and like didn't ask for resources. Usually like in our culture, like the South American culture, we're like, hey, you could do it, just stay strong. And I randomly stumbled upon like going back to Colombia, to the Amazon specifically, nothing to do with skincare again. And that's where I wanted to see the pink dolphins, because I was like, I've never seen this. This is so awesome. And that's where I met the Huitito tribes in Colombia specifically. And I found out about chontaduro, and chontaduro is an ingredient that we're using specifically in our products. And it's the first Latin American natural retinol in the industry. And it's an alternative to retinol. And it basically doesn't cause you to have burns, itch, or irritation, something that was like super important for me. And it helps people with sensitivities too.
That's awesome. So essentially, you were kind of inspired by your own story, as you mentioned, where a lot of the products out there are not meant for people with sensitive skin. They have like a lot of chemical additives that are just not even good for you in general. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So like our products, for example, they're fragrance free. They're like vegan, dermatologist approved, made for sensitive skin, formulated specifically for sensitive skin, and so on.
Makes sense. So in terms of like making this product, obviously you were saying that you're kind of going and getting like these ingredients, for example, from Colombia. What does that process look like? Do you guys make it here in the States? Do you make it in Colombia? Like, what does that look like to actually go and manufacture the product?
Yeah, so we sourced globally, and then we're rooted in Latin American botanicals for sure. But we manufacture here in the US. So we bring everything in-house, and we do have a co-manufacturer that we work with here.
Awesome. So in terms of like finding that right partner, I know that many brands struggle with that as a challenge for them. So how did you find that like manufacturing partner that was a good fit to actually work with you and work with your brand?
Yeah, so I guess let me backtrack a little to answer that
Sure.
question. So my background is in chemical material science engineering.
Okay.
I am the formulator of the brand and the CEO. And honestly, before this, as I mentioned, I didn't know that I was going to be a founder, but I am, and I'm proud to be one. But before this, I used to work in the tech industry. I used to work for Intel Corporation, and I have experience in logistics. I have experience in supply management. I have experience in transferring technology. And really, I was one of the engineers with the supply chain, unfortunately, and maybe fortunate enough to say now, during COVID, that was like my new transition. We were really affected by the supply chains bottlenecks that caused because we were working on the automated, I guess, cars, right? Like the microchips that are needed for the cars. And that's why there was a delay on selling cars. So I had to deal with that along with other, I guess, employees from Intel as well. So really how it all started, because going from the tech industry into the beauty industry is a whole different world. But I personally started the old school way. Just I didn't know people in the street. To this point, I feel like I'm still meeting people within the industry and getting to know myself, like people to get to know me. So I started just calling and resourcing. So first, what I did was, okay, how do I want to build my brand and what is important for me? So for example, do you want to have the ISO 9001, right? Like, do you want to have a specific certifications? And then from there, it's like, okay, you pick the manufacturer and then you call them, right? That's the number one step. You get the information. Then from there, I did like a strategy. It gets a little technical where it goes into like, what's their quality? How are their customer service? What's their price per unit? And so on. So because I have experience on that, I kind of like, even with the raw ingredients, just calling and seeing, okay, what works. And then even after you formulate, some of the like ingredients may not work well with each other. So then it's like, what stability test do you have to do? Is it meeting the pH standard that you're wanting to seek, and so on?
Makes sense. In terms of like, I mean, I guess obviously formulating like this product is one thing and making the products. What's kind of been like your go-to-market strategy? Has it been retail, Amazon, direct to consumer? Like, what have you kind of been focused on to actually go out and get new customers?
So right now we're in omni-channel. We're in brick and mortar stores like Amp Beauty. We're in e-cosmetics, and then we're also in Macy's.com.
Awesome. And then do you also sell like on your website? Do you sell like on Amazon? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, so we sell on our website. Our website is Bejou.co. And then just to spell it out, Bejou.co. That's where we sell. We're currently not in Amazon, but we're planning on launching pretty soon.
That's awesome. So I guess like from what you see, right, is there like a certain type of like who is like, like ideal customers, certain demographics, certain parts of the country, where are you kind of seeing like the most traction for your product?
So for our specific products, we're melanin rich type of skincare brand. Obviously everyone has like, hyperpigmentation, dark spots, or discoloration within their skin. But what I've been seeing that's kind of like our traction, the areas where most of our customers purchase from has been California, Florida, even like Arizona, Denver. So like the different parts of like it's the West and then the Southern East Coast where I've seen most of our purchases. In terms of like our demographics, like a lot of people who are from South America, they know what chontaduro is. And then when they find out, they're like, oh my gosh, and they get like super excited about the product. So like Latinos have been like very integrated within our niche, but also like it goes into different like ranges of people. So like white, I mean, it just depends, right? And it also depends on their needs. Like some people are really just looking for, hey, I have really been struggling with my skin. I haven't found anything at all. And I want to try something new that's like clean, that's organic. And then they find about Beeshoe and then they come and purchase. And then from there, it's like, oh my gosh, I really like the product. It really worked on me. So I'm going to continue to struggle. So we have different type of people, the ones who are currently suffering in the market, who have that like both issues, which is sensitive skin and hyperpigmentation. So those people are struggling and they're trying to find their right like skincare for them. And then we have the other people who are like, oh my gosh, I don't know much about skincare, I want to do multiple products in one, or I just want to have like, I want to do the easy minimalist way. And because we provide that, they also find us too.
Makes sense. So, but in terms of like getting like the word out, has it been through like word of mouth? Have you done paid ads, organic? Like, what has been the best way to actually get this product in front of customers and educate them?
So we've done events. I feel like it really works with events a lot. It's also like trade shows we've been part of. We have gotten some PR. Fortunately enough for us, we've been featured. We've never had to pay for them. And a lot of word of mouth because we're 100% bootstrapped. We have put a little bit of like focused on it, but it's mainly been organic.
For sure. Sort of like people have found out about you that they published articles. Obviously, event is where you and I connected, tabling at different events and actually getting FaceTime with customers and explaining to them like about your product and kind of what your unique differentiation is.
Yeah. And then like giving them samples and letting them try it on their own and deciding on their own.
That's awesome. So I guess in terms of like your vision for the product, I mean, obviously we're kind of halfway here through 2025. Do you envision like the product being more in retail, online? Like, I guess like what are you kind of focused on? And maybe I guess like certain retailers that you want to get into or selling more like on your website. Like, yeah, what is your thought there?
So I would love to continue to be an omni-channel. We definitely are wanting to break through like more on D2C and continue to scale. That's something that we're looking for. But we would also love to be in other like retail stores like Blue Mercury or even Ulta, Sephora's of the world. We're also like clean and organic. So like even like Bristol Farms, Whole Foods would be like amazing like partnerships and for us to be able to get into their stores. So there's different opportunities and we want to make sure that like, yes, retail is important, but so is D2C. So even like on TikTok shop, right? So I think it's important to have that range and even on our website to continue, right? Because when we go into retail, it's important for us to partner with our retail partners to make sure that our customers are buying and so on. So I think it's important to do both.
For sure. Are you on TikTok Shop right now?
Yes.
Okay. And then have you been able to, like, do you do like organic content? Have you been able to get traction? Like just explain like your story? Like what does that look like on TikTok?
Honestly, TikTok shop has been hard to break through. We do put content, organic content, and we do get some sales, but not as expected. So we're still like trying to figure it out
For
and
sure.
be successful on TikTok shop. We have like really amazing founder friends who are doing amazing there. We're still working towards that and like trying to improve our strategies or how could we connect with our customers there. They do love our like content, but in terms of like purchasing, I think it could also be like, hey, we need more reviews and so on.
For sure. And do you typically do more, you could say like founder led content, or do you have like influencers slash customers doing content? Like what does that kind of look like?
Actually, we kind of do everything. What we found is like people really like founder led content. So we do have like founder led content, but we have UGCs, we have like our community, we have real customers, of course, with their approvals, but we have it all. It just depends on like what's working. And yeah, so like,
Sure, yeah. Well, it's good that like you're mixing it up. Obviously, eventually it's going to get to a point where you're going to get like a viral video or two and get some more sales. So I guess if you could go back in time, right, to before you started this business, what is the one biggest piece of advice that you wish you knew?
honestly, there's so much I could give advice on, but don't do it for the money. It's not worth it. Like it's very hard. Entrepreneurship is not for everyone. You could be a really good entrepreneurship, which means that you work for a company. It's very challenging. And then there's going to be really, really great highs and really, really bad lows. The important thing is just to stay in between. Like I've learned to, yes, celebrate. It's something I'm not really good at. So like I'm giving this advice because I also need it myself. When I have really good news, sometimes I don't even celebrate them and I go on to the next challenge. So make sure that you celebrate yourself. I do celebrate my team, but myself or the accomplishments, not so much because there's so much going on. Another thing is learn and know how much it is or try to talk to people. If you don't have like a network connection, like ask around, like how much is it really to build a brand? Because building brands are really expensive and people or customers think that, oh my gosh, it's very cheap or you could just do it on your own. Or sometimes us as founders, we're like, oh my gosh, I'm projected to be here in 1 year and it takes a little longer. So it's kind of like putting your head and your toes on like earth, and like just like being realistic about how things are going to go and how much funding do you have, and are you bootstrapped, or do you want to get like investment from others, you know? So there's so many, I could talk about tips and like a lot.
Yeah, we can do a whole separate episode about tips, but
Exactly.
yeah, so I guess like on that note, if somebody's watching this, if they wanted to reach out to you, maybe connect more about like advice, or if they wanted to find your business, do you mind sharing best way to get in contact, and also website, social media, etc.?
So the best way how you could find me and Beeshoe is you could find us on TikTok shop and on Instagram at beeshoe.co, Bejou.co. You could also find us on our website at as bejou.co, beeshoe.co. If you want to email us, you could email us at info@beeshoe.co. And I'm also like a founder that I like to be involved. I'm not always on Instagram or on TikTok because I'm pretty busy, but sometimes you may be talking to me, so you may be surprised. I won't tell you that it's me, but it could be me. I'm just like every now and then, I just like to like get close enough with our customers and like make sure that we're taking care of them.
Well, Carolina, thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you so much.